I'm at a different stage of life and so I'm very selective with my time. And if I want to go home and bedazzle a nutcracker during the middle of the day, like,
self-care is a huge part of it. And especially moms, like, we just don't do it. We just, and with the holidays, we tire ourselves out because we're wanting everybody to have this perfect holiday or whatever, and then we really don't take care of ourselves, and then we have like not a good holidays. We're like, oh, we're just beat down. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So even sometimes self-care is just so small. Like it could be just going to bed early with some ice cream, binge watching Real Housewives, or Love Island, or Love is Blind. You know what I mean? And not doing anything else and being like, nah, that can wait. Like, I don't have it in me today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think with moms, it's even different, because we can't sit around and be depressed. We don't have that luxury.
Yeah, we
you know
have
what I
people
mean?
dependent on us.
We have to. And that's the crazy thing with like going through divorces and not having our kids or whatever. Like, we still have to keep, and having our own businesses, especially, like, we have to keep it moving.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, I think, to force yourself to maybe have, or like give yourself like, okay, I'm going to give myself a day or 2 days. And then I got to like get it together.
Yeah. I for sure like have learned over the years. I mean, 21 years in, like the looks of my career and how it started and how it's going now, like you couldn't have, in the first 10 years, you couldn't have caught me dead going on a field trip. You know what I mean? Like I just with Taryn, I missed a lot of that stuff. And now, like last week, I went on a field trip to the Fort Worth Museum with, I had a group of 5-year-olds, and I thought, am I going to make it through this? Like, I don't consider myself the most patient person, but we had the best day. Like, I think the teachers blessed me. I think they probably knew, or God blessed me, because I got really good kids in my group, and they all
like,
were
put
so
those in
sweet.
Megan's group. Put all the good ones in
Megan's it was
group.
really my own kid that was throwing a fit at the end of the day because she didn't get the sucker that she wanted. The other little girl picked the only tiger. I took them into the gift shop. It's like, here, you can have one thing, but then we got to go get on the bus, and so trying to get them all to like, pick the sucker that they want. And I'm like, you just have to choose. That was about the highlight of the day, when it was my own daughter that was, falling out because she wanted the tiger one, and there was only one tiger, and so
it's like, that's not fair.
Yeah. And then we get outside and all the other kids are going, I want one of those suckers. And she's like, my mom bought it. And
I was
just like,
sitting here thinking, I wonder what all the other kids were thinking. Probably.
I'm just that mom. I'm that mom. It's funny. I had growing up, I'm sure I've told you about this before, but maybe not. When I was in elementary school, there was a popular girl, and her mom would come. Back then, they didn't like stop you from coming into classes. I mean, it was the 80s. Like they would come in.
Walk on in.
Girl, and thinking back, they were dressed up in red leotards and pantyhose with like a tail, like for Valentine's. And they would come and bring to only her select friends, like 2 or 3 moms, only the cool, fun kids. And and every year I'd be thinking, please let me get one of those heart candy things or whatever. And I always want all the kids to feel involved or whatever, but that was my group. So my group got suckers or whatever. But, I always was like hoping I was going to be one of the popular kids and getting one of those heart candies. And it was never me. I never got like the small one or the big one, but it's fine. It all worked out.
It builds character.
Yeah. I carried that for years. So
You're
now
still thinking about that candy box.
Why do you think I like for years did like all these awesome gift bags for Taryn and Spencer's classes, for their parties and stuff. But yeah, so I've gotten really good at saying no. I've gotten really good at saying no. And it's okay if I want to get up and take Spencer to school and then go get my nails done, and not have to get it done at 6 o'clock and not get home till 8 or 8:30. I did that for 10, 15 years, 15 really. I don't think until honestly, maybe my separation or my divorce that I was like, I can go to the nail shop during the day.
Yeah.
I just had to learn to like take time for myself because it's those days that I wake up and everything's going great and perfect and I feel off. That's when I get scared. But, ever since I had my, what I call kind of hit and rock bottom, and, got back on antidepressants and anxiety meds and swore I'd never get off of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I also am in a relationship too where I don't have somebody holding it over my head or throwing it in my face or,
Well, with depression,
making me feel like something's wrong with me.
with depression and mental illness, like just can be a chemical imbalance. Doesn't have
Right.
to be situations, and that's typically what mine is. It could just be everything going like perfectly, but I just feel like I have a cloud over me all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could break out and cry at any second for no reason. I'm like, what the world is that? You know what I mean? And sometimes I'll even have to tell Gabriel, like, hey, it's just what I'm feeling. And he'll be like, why? What's going on? Like, there's nothing going, you know what I mean? And it's just a part of who I am. And I think that my grandmother suffered from depression. There's a lot of it in that side of the family. There's been suicides. There's been, different types of things that where people could never pull themselves out of it. And I don't know if it's because they didn't have the resources or the support or what that may be. And one of my cousins, I mean, he had lots of support, but he just couldn't get over it and took his own life, super young. But, and his mom tried to do all kinds of things for him, but it just, in the end, it just took him out. You know what I mean? And she thinks all the time, like, what could I have done differently? But
Nothing.
there's nothing that that's what, we try to tell her all the time because she'll go back to that day and everything like that. And it's like, there's nothing because it would have just been a different day.
Right.
I
did that for many years over my mom, like if I would have just stayed home or if I, wouldn't have went to school or whatever, but if it wasn't that day, but I didn't figure that out for a long time. I mean,
and with
years.
counseling.
Right. And it just like, I, blamed myself for a lot of years, but then I realized like, if it wasn't that day, it would have been a different day.
I think a lot of people carry shame with depression. I wonder why they carry shame with depression because it's not like you wanted to feel that way.
Right, and it's just not anything that I've ever hid. Like I'm pretty loud and proud about it.
I think a lot of people hide it though.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure. And those that do end up taking their life, like not every single case, but for the most part, people that take their own life, it just looked like this past week we had a Dallas Cowboys player, 24 years old, take his own life.
That's
and
so
he had
sad.
just scored his first touchdown in the NFL from Monday Night Football. And he was reeling out of control. And for whatever reason,
He lost his mom.
and for whatever reason, just felt like that, was too much and that he just couldn't take it anymore. And so just
usually
never
it's
know.
the ones that like their friends are like super shocked. They're like, what in the world? Like I had no idea. And that's why they say to like always check on your friends.
Yeah.